We had a switch in the agenda for anybody who's interested. We originally were going to be looking at the Conway Price Avenue project this evening, and that was taken off the table. The applicant wasn't really ready and felt that given a little bit more time, they could become better prepared for a good presentation. So that's been postponed until some future time when we'll have a better presentation from those folks.
Probably next month?
Probably. I'm hoping that we can get them on the calendar in the middle of June, which at a special meeting, because by the time we get to July, it's very hard to hold a meeting because people are away. It falls actually on the 4th of July, which would bump it to the 11th of July, and by that point most folks are out of town.
We just have to keep looking.
Yeah, keep looking, and it'll be advertised when we're able to get it organized, and when the developer's ready, when we're ready to talk to the developer. We're in fairness to them and to the public, we don't want it to drag
Right.
any longer than it absolutely must. So that's the situation.
Okay.
We'll just keep
Keep in touch. Keep in touch. Instead, on the agenda tonight is another matter. A lot line change.
Are these for us?
Pardon me?
Are these for us?
Those are for you. Those are for us.
You have one?
Right. For 227 North Narberth and 232 Hampton Avenue and 234 Hampton Avenue, which are properties that abut St. Margaret's property, school property, I guess, up on North Narberth Avenue. We have the applicant with us this evening, and could you gentlemen identify yourselves and come on up here because there's no fence here anymore.
We're allowed to cross this line.
And then you can explain what your desire is to do here, so we all understand what the goal of this exercise is.
Well,
Could you introduce yourselves?
Monsignor Doherty, the pastor at St. Margaret's.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm Lyle Nels. I'm a volunteer project manager helping Monsignor Doherty.
Okay, are you a member of the congregation?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thanks. Welcome.
Thank you.
Please, we have a copy of the plan here.
Well, shortly after I was made pastor of St. Margaret's about 2 years ago, about this time, one of the neighbors in the back approached us and asked if we might be interested in purchasing some of their property here. We already owned the property that extends on both sides of it there. So when they mentioned that, we were definitely interested. And then he also checked with the other neighbor who also expressed an interest. So over a long period of time, we had several conversations about things and eventually agreed on a price. And I guess our main desire to have the lots is, first of all, it just seemed to make sense if we already extend down this far on these sides to kind of square it off a bit. And we were mainly looking just to expand our schoolyard a little bit, to have this is all asphalt that they play on. So to cut down on the bloody knees, it would be nice to have we thought it would be nice to have a patch of grass there that some of it gets kind of crowded too in our square. We have
That's the asshole.
This is
this
asphalt.
side on their own side.
Yeah.
So that's our plan really at this point, is just to keep it grass. There's a line of brush and shrubbery and trees between the two. We might, for now, we want to leave that there pretty much and maybe cut a path through that some of the students could go into the second yard. Put a fence, we're planning on putting a fence here that the students could come off the asphalt into the area there. And we're still discussing about, maybe even using this as an educational vegetable garden of some sort or something like that. But primarily the play area. We just wanted to expand the play
So
area.
the use you propose is a combination of educational purpose and play area, which is of course educational too.
Yeah.
Grades.
Yeah, it's mainly for the school. It's in connection with the school, so yeah, definitely educational purposes.
Okay.
So this line that's around this lot with the line and the little squares, that's a fence, I assume? Is that an
Yes.
existing
Yes.
fence?
Yes.
And that extends over this way. So was this a fence that St. Margaret's erected at some time? Looks like it's on, this is St. Margaret's property now.
I'm a little disoriented here. Where,
See, Hampton Avenue's here.
Here's Hampton, here's North Narberth. This is the school.
This is the playground area.
Okay,
Or-
okay.
Oh, so this is
All right,
that.
all right, now I
That's
get it.
that.
This is big asphalt. This is Christmas tree sales.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, we own the property down to this fence, right?
Yes.
Is that down to?
Well,
on both-
no, beyond the fence, we own it all the way to this property
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, right, on both these sides, right? And this is all asphalt over here. So that's the primary play area for there's currently a fence here, but actually we own the property all the way back to here.
Okay.
Even though we have.
So that is St. Margaret's fence, presumably?
Yes.
It belongs to,
Yeah,
you probably built it.
I think so,
Mhm.
yeah. And we had an agreement, I understand, with previous pastors had an agreement with the neighbors here saying, you can use this if you want, we're not using it right now, but we still own the property back to here. So we're going to leave those fences, all those fences that are in place for right now, we're going to leave them in place and just add a fence to the back of the, so that would be here, I guess, right, Lara?
Right.
That we would add this fence back here and then create a gateway in this fence that the students could enter these two areas from that asphalt area.
Okay.
So is the idea to merge these two lots into this lot one, to make a one-line
Yes.
lot?
Yes, just a lot line adjustment on both
Okay,
lots.
so you'll strike those property lines.
Anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah, the only other thing we did talk about here was possibly, but this is like way in the future, like a playground. There's a playground here for kindergarten and pre-K, and we were thinking possibly someday of making one for, that would be grades 1 and 2, but that is not on the docket right now at all.
Questions?
I don't know if Lyle, if you want to add, do you want to add anything?
No, I think you covered it.
Yeah, okay.
Sure, I have a question. So, overall, the existing lot 1 is probably over-covered with impervious surface, I would imagine, right? Because there's a lot of, it's primarily paved surface.
Correct, this would all be paved, yeah. all would be
Does-
paved.
so-
This would not be this paved.
Yeah, so my question is merging these lots, does it trigger any kind of requirement that, you know, they conform to impervious surface coverage?
In other words, so they can't pave over this at least.
Well-
This is grandfathered in, but.
Yeah.
But that.
Well, but that's my question. Is it really grandfathered?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So
I don't know
if they
the answer to
merge,
that.
does it become like a new thing? A new,
Well, the question is, when the properties are merged and it becomes one lot, does that lot have to be in compliance? I would
Right,
imagine
yeah.
it does, but
even
That was
formally-
contrary to my understanding.
Oh, is that
but- But
right?
I'm not a lawyer.
And
and
neither
I
am
don't know
I.
how all this stuff works. I had understood that the new lots 2 and 3, need to be in conformance
Right.
with the new law, the new zoning, and they are. We had the surveyor check that very carefully.
Okay.
My understanding was that that was not a requirement on lot 1. We didn't ask the surveyor to check that. Certainly, getting that open land will help a lot
Yeah.
in the right direction.
Well, particularly if it remains unpaved. You know, as everyone knows, there's greater and greater and greater concern about stormwater runoff, and so if it seemed to me, I'm just speaking for myself, that if the parcel A and parcel B were to remain pervious, you know, going forward, pervious in perpetuity, there's a word, that it would only benefit Lot 1. It would improve the conditions of Lot 1, which have been largely paved for as long as I can remember.
And were we to build anything, we would have to come to you for permission to do that, and
That's right.
then we'd have to make sure that we
Well, then
met the rules.
then there might be some horse trading going on between pervious and impervious surfaces. You take some up and you put something down.
Yeah, but right now we have no plans to pave that anyway.
Yeah, just a playground for, you mentioned the possibility.
Yeah, that's a remote possibility.
Some of
yeah.
those,
Yeah.
some of it, sometimes that adds a little impervious surface. Lauren, do you have any comments on this?
Yeah, that was one of my big questions.
Let's
but-
explain who Lauren is so that you gentlemen know. Can you introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Lauren Van Dyke. I'm with the Montgomery County Planning Commission. So I'm Narberth's county planner. So I provide review for all proposals that come through and advise. So I usually have my little spiel for our meetings. So one of our big questions was about the surface cover, whether it would be impervious or not. And, clearly leaving it grass, as Jim said, would improve lot 1. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
The land area, the parcels to be acquired are a couple feet higher than the parking lot. It would be a very expensive process
Right.
for us to go and level that and
Is there a
side of the
retaining
lot.
wall or just sort of a?
There are retaining walls over here. Over here, not. There's a fence, and the fence is sitting on a rather steep hill, and that applies to here too. Although on this side, it's only a foot or two. Over here, it's 4 or 5 feet.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a rather
kids
steep
used to
incline
slide
right
there.
there.
You can slide.
It's one of the reasons we want to keep the present fence. Hopefully the land in there.
I mean, actually, this is all equal, isn't it? Isn't this
Pardon
all
me?
grass?
No, it goes up here, it rises up
That's where the sliding hill is?
over here, yeah.
Here, that would be.
Well, the pavement follows the fence line here.
Yeah, that's
So
what I thought.
this is all grass.
Yeah, that's where it was.
This line.
But it goes up, there is a
Yeah.
grade change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we wouldn't make the 60%. We'd be pretty close.
Yeah, there's more pervious than you
Yeah,
think, when you
than
think
is
it's just,
shown here.
it's not just a
Yeah.
parking lot.
I mean, it's actually.
You know, you
down
have,
here.
yeah, exactly.
The lines on the side is all open.
It's a lot of
So
grass.
just,
Yeah.
do you know, Sean, about whether if you merge a new lot with the old one, if all of a sudden the whole thing loses its grandfathered status in terms of impervious coverage?
Whether if it were still non-conforming with impervious cover, then you wouldn't. The subdivision could still go forward. It's sometime if something gets proposed on that space or on that lot, then we do a full site calculation and see where we're at.
You mean a new
Yeah,
building?
and if they
More and more impervious.
Right.
and if they introduce or replace 2,000 square feet of new or replace them in impervious cover, then there's a drainage plan requirement with the stormwater code. So if there's any major work done in the parking area, or if, this is quite a big add to the lot. This is 7,000 square feet. So if they were even to develop a quarter of that as a few more parking spaces or something paved or another, then we'd be looking at trying to manage that quotient.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
we're-
adding the land onto it is not
It won't trigger.
an issue to deny that.
Right, so if something were to be developed, we would
Required
have
to zone.
land development, building permit process to go through, and then we would take another look at the impervious coverage. Other than that, from our perspective, we, triple check the setbacks and the dimensional requirements are all in compliance. So that's about all we had to say.
Okay. Do you have anything to add, Sean?
No.
Okay. Any other comments around the table? Any comments from the public on this?
I'll just add that I met with Monsignor and Lyle a couple of times leading up to the application just to go over the issues and make sure that the newly created lots on 2 and 3 would be conforming.
Yeah.
That was our main issue.
And you think they do?
They do.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody see a problem with this?
Your accessory building setback, the minimum there is 3 feet in the district. It doesn't
these are, this straddles some kind of zoning line, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does.
Twin?
Yeah.
Just curious.
This area is 3C and this area is 3B. So part of our lot is 3B.
I know.
And the new
Yeah.
parcels is 3B also.
So what's this? What's the story about it?
Yeah, well, the school is in 3C, and the area east of the school is 3B.
So they're adding parcel that's
Yeah.
a different
So the
zone.
3B line is right across here, so part of the existing lot is already in the 3B.
And it'll still be in 3B.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, sure.
All right.
I mean, it's a minor thing to note, but since this applicant came in under the new zoning code, and it's your first, a school is a permitted use in both of these districts. And had they come in under the old code, they would have been looking at a potential trip to the zoning hearing board. An expansion of a non-conforming use.
Lucky you.
Good timing.
Yeah, right.
Well, congratulations on being the first applicant.
And we feel honored.
You know what that gets you?
It keeps you from going to the zoning hearing board. It
That's
sounds
where
like
it's
it's a good thing. Any other comments? Well, before us tonight is we're charged with deciding whether or not to make a recommendation to Borough Council through the Building and Zoning Committee, as usual, to approve this application, and I will entertain a motion on that regard.
Wait, do we make a motion to vote, or we make a motion regarding which way?
Well, I presume there's no further discussion. So that being the case, I think we should, we would take a vote to approve this application.
I'll move to approve the application.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks. So you're good to go. So we will write a letter that conveys that recommendation. We're not the approving body, the Borough Council is. We'll promptly write a letter recommending approval to the Building and Zoning Committee of
Okay.
Borough Council.
Then the process from here is it goes to the borough and then it goes to Montgomery County subsequently?
No, we sort of simultaneously provide a review letter, so once that review letter is recorded by the county and we can check that off, that fulfills the requirement to coordinate with the county, basically. And we'll get that to the borough hopefully this week.
So assuming the borough likes this, the council likes this, we could have this approved at the next borough council meeting. That
If we receive those letters in the office, I can put it on the June 20th, Monday, June 20th business agenda. It's 2 weeks from now.
Okay,
And that would be the next available.
Yeah, I think
that would be great.
I think you can count on that.
The sellers would love it.
All right. Any further business, Sean, for us to consider this evening? Anybody else have anything that they wish to discuss?
I will mention that today, in the 7th and a half hour of borough's operational business being open, we received a revised application for subdivision land development, or land development at 198 Elmwood Avenue. It was not, in fairness to you, not something to throw at you at 3:30 in the afternoon, but we'll get those plans to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
It was submitted prior to your planning commission meeting.
Is it a revision of the plan that was already submitted, or is it?
This is a new plan submitted under the form-based zoning code.
All right.
Okay.
The only thing I have, we had been talking about meeting with the property owner at Conway and Price for another, session talking about ways to subdivide that property. That has not apparently come together. We had hoped that it might happen today or tomorrow, but as of now, there are no plans to meet, so I'm not sure when that's going to happen.
Well, we'll see if we can get that organized. That would be important to
Yeah.
move that along. The goal being to collaborate, is the word I'm going to use, with the developer to come up with a scheme that is in everyone's best interest, including the neighbors in Narberth Park. And the folks that probably just left the room would be counted among them. But the plan that was shown before was wanting in some ways, and we would like to encourage the applicant to come up with some other plans. So one way to do that is to sit and hold their hand and
Similar to the process we used on the Sabine property and
on every
Methodist
project so
Church.
far that I can think of. Yeah. So that's where the mid-June meeting would come, hopefully, to have a formal presentation. Okay. Is there any further business? Hearing none. I'll hear a motion for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
Second to that. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Done.
Wow.